Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So at the time that this reading is going up, we are about to experience a pretty significant astrological transit, which is that the nodes of the moon are going to be changing signs. So the north node is entering into the sign of Pisces, and the south node is entering into the sign of Virgo. And this is going to last from January 11th, 2025 until July 26, 2026. So it's a period of about a year and a half that we are going to have this transit. So in today's Pick a Card reading, we're going to be finding out what you can expect during this time. Just before we get into it, I did want to take a little bit of time to talk about what exactly the nodes are and what they represent, and just my own perception of how they affect us. If you would like to listen to that, we're going to get into it right now. But if you'd like to skip ahead to choosing your reading selection, I will have that timestamp link down below for you. So yeah, let's get into it. If you are familiar with astrology, or if you have looked at your birth chart before, then you have maybe seen that you have a north node placement and a south node placement in your chart. The north and south nodes are not actually celestial bodies. They are rather points in the sky. Basically, we have the ecliptic, which is the part of the sky that we perceive the sun to move through. So, we perceive the sun to move through all 12 signs as we move around it. There's that ring of sky. And then there's also the orbit of the moon, which goes around Earth. And the nodes of the moon are the 2 points at which the moon's orbit path coincides with the ecliptic. There's a north one and a south one, and they're always in opposite signs. So if one node is in Aries, the other is going to be in Libra. If one node is in Taurus, the other is going to be in Scorpio. And the nodes change signs like we just said, roughly every year and a half, 18 months, and they move backwards through the zodiac. So if a node was just in Aries, next it's going to move into Pisces, and then it's going to move into Aquarius. It goes backwards through the zodiac like that. In Vedic astrology, the north node is called Rahu and the south node is called Ketu. The south node represents your past incarnations, your past lessons, things that you have previously mastered. So the south node represents where you are coming from. The north node represents where you are going. That's one way to put it, like the lessons that you are to learn in the future, the direction that you're headed in the future. So I have this here, let's say your south node is in Libra and your north node is in Aries, and that's you. Maybe a lesson that you are learning in this life with your north node in Aries is to be more bold and to take more risks, to go with your gut and just do what you want to do. And in the past, you have maybe in past lives, you were very calculated, because that Libra energy, it likes to weigh all of the options and think of the best possible thing and the pros and cons and how everybody's going to be affected. Aries just does it. Aries, I think about it, I want to do it, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to dive headfirst into it. In Western astrology especially, you'll often hear words like destiny when it comes to the north node. I personally feel like it's often painted as this desirable thing that we want to move away from the south node, because that's our past, that's our comfort zone, it doesn't serve us anymore. We want to move away from that and move towards the north node, which is our destiny, our soul's growth and expansion. So we're just linearly, if that's a word, unilaterally going in this direction. I feel like that's a very Western way of looking at it. Whereas in Vedic astrology, and I find this quite interesting, but the nodes are often represented as oh my gosh, the head and tail of a serpent, or I've also seen it referred to as a dragon. Someone who is more knowledgeable than me, please feel free to clarify this. And yeah, please, anyone who has more knowledge on astrology, please feel free to elaborate on any of this. But the North Node is represented as the head of the serpent, and the South Node is represented as the tail. So the North Node has this kind of hungry quality to it, like it wants to devour everything in its path. It is ravenous, it is greedy, and sometimes it can be associated with obsessive kind of behavior, or like I said, greedy kind of behavior, where we often see with the South Node, it's represented as more detached. And this can often be represented in a positive way, like I'm detached, I'm more enlightened, I don't need this stuff. So getting into my own personal experience with the nodes, I personally don't really feel like I am heading in any one direction, just more so that they are two opposing forces that exist within me, and they need each other. An analogy that I think of is a gas pedal and a brake pedal. So the North Node is like a gas pedal, and the South Node is like a brake pedal. In a car, you need both. If you have a car with only a gas pedal, that is very dangerous. You're gonna crash. If you have only a brake pedal, then it's useless because you're not going to go anywhere. So if you think about someone who gets too sucked up in their South Node energy, they will become like a car that only has a brake pedal. So they are going to stay in their comfort zone. They're not going to grow. They're not going to get anywhere. Always just falling back to their old habits and nothing changes. If you get too sucked up into the energy of your North Node, you are going to become like a car that only has a gas pedal. So you're going to become like that ravenous dragon head that just like charges forward and eats everything in its path and wants more, and you're always pushing yourself. Then you could burn out, you could get hurt, you could hurt others, you could do some reckless stuff. You're never gonna be satisfied, like you always want more. The node placements are not super personal because they do spend 18 months in each sign. And this means that you have the same node signs as people who were born within that same 18-month period as you. It's not like, the sun sign that changes every month or the moon sign that changes every few days. What is personal to you though would be what houses your nodes are in, because they will go through all 12 houses in a day. Me, for example, my North Node is in Scorpio, and I think like everyone born in the same year as me has that. I think I'm gonna use myself as an example. So this is me. These are the two wolves inside of me, the South Node in Taurus in the first house and the North Node in Scorpio in the 7th house. So probably what I've mastered in my past lives is taking care of myself, keeping what's mine to myself. And that's how I stay comfortable, and that's how I stay feeling secure. What I'm probably trying to learn in this lifetime from a soul perspective is to embrace others, to let others in, to welcome intimacy and collaboration into my life and share with others. And I definitely find myself kind of oscillating between these two energies. And perhaps my lesson is not to go one way or the other, but to find that balance in the middle where these are scales. It looks kind of like a sailboat, but for them to be scales, where I'm remembering what I've mastered in my past and using it to protect me in this lifetime, but not allowing myself to get stuck in those ways that I can't learn another perspective. And I find it's kind of like when I go too far this way, as a reaction to that, I like aggressively go back to this. You know what I mean? So I'll go through periods where, I don't know, I'm giving people all my money, or like I'm oversharing or something like that. Really losing myself in that energy of like opening up and giving and sharing and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, ugh, I don't like this. I feel vulnerable. I feel like I'm losing myself. And then I go back into my Taurus hole, my Taurus cave of just like keeping to myself and hoarding all my stuff and not sharing with people. So that's what I go through. Maybe you can apply this to yourself somehow, seeing what signs and houses your nodes are in and kind of seeing, do I oscillate between these two energies? Or do I feel like I have a healthy balance between the two of them? Because the way I personally see it is maybe not so much like the Western interpretation of it, of like the North Node is your destiny and you're leaving your South to go to the North. I feel like you're meant to take the South Node with you. You're meant to take those past experiences with you so that when you go into the new experience, you don't lose yourself to it and get completely lost. You know, maybe somebody has their North Node in Aries, and so in this lifetime, they're learning how to take more risks and they're learning how to be more bold. And, you know, when they want something, to just go for it and put themselves first in that way. If they dive into that without their previous lessons of Libra, the opposite sign, which taught them how to weigh their options carefully and think about what is the best option for everybody involved. If they dive into those Aries lessons without taking their previous Libra knowledge with them, you can see clearly how that could become a very reckless and selfish person who ends up hurting others or themselves. So they're both very important. They both need each other. And yeah, that's kind of how I see it. So that's the end of my yapping. Like I said, feel free if you have more knowledge or if you have more insights or different insights, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm really interested in how people experience their birth chart and how they interpret different placements, because I believe that, like tarot, it's very much an intuitive practice to like decipher your birth chart. So yeah, I'm very curious how you experience it. But anyway, let's finally get into our pick a card reading. So there are 3 groups for you to choose from, and I'm going to show you each of these crystals up close one by one, and please pick whichever one you feel drawn to the most. For my group number 1s, we have this white agate heart. For my group number 2s, we have this aquamarine point. And for my group number 3s, we have this purpley agate star. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number 1s, so if you guys chose the white agate heart, this is going to be your reading. There was an intuitive message coming through for you. I honestly don't know if this is for everybody, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. There was a message about you experimenting and trying to go outside of your own box, which is interesting that it came through in that way. It's not that you're doing something outside the box. It's like you are being self-aware about what boxes you have created for yourself when it comes to your own like style of expression or the way you approach your work or something like that. Looking at the boxes you tend to fall in and sort of purposefully challenging yourself to experiment and do something different. And there was also something about you are intentionally doing something kind of weird with your work or with your projects, with your creativity. And the ones who get it, and the ones who don't. And the ones who don't get it might say that what you did was wrong. And I'm saying that with giant finger quotes. But the ones who get it will be like, oh, I see what you did there. It's like if someone made a song that had like a dissonant chord, and the people will appreciate that creative risk. The people who get it will appreciate the emotion it was meant to evoke. And it's like, oh, I see what you did there. But not everybody's gonna get it. That's kind of the vibe. Okay, so as you can see, we have a box here. This box is adorable. It was actually gifted to me. Isn't she so cute? I have little papers in here, and we are going to pull 3 out of them to see what this transit is really going to be about for you. Oh, okay. We have stop ignoring this, your past life, and path A or B. Okay, group number 1, during this transit, you are making a very important decision between 2 paths in your life, A or B. The fact that this came out with stop ignoring this, I feel like perhaps your spiritual team is saying that this decision has been looming, I'm hearing looming over you already for quite some time. And you know that eventually you're going to have to choose path A or B, but maybe you are putting it off. Maybe you are pretending that there's no choice to be made, or pretending that there's no problem, so you can keep going on with your life as it is. And I feel like these together are saying, stop ignoring this choice that you have to make. And then this even came out with your past life. So I do think that this transit is going to be revealing a lot to you about a very formative past life of yours, or a pattern that has continued throughout your past lives. I almost got the feeling that this fork in the road that you're at, or that you will come up to, could be a deja vu from a past life, that perhaps you were faced with a very similar decision in a previous life and you sort of have this chance to do it over. Or maybe in a past life you ignored it entirely and you didn't choose either. I'm also hearing not making a decision is a decision. Or like choosing not to take action is also an action. So you might think that you're avoiding making a choice, but your avoidance in itself is a choice. So if you're like, I'm afraid to choose, that doesn't really make sense, because you are choosing. You're choosing to ignore something, or you're choosing to let something pass you by. And so I feel like during this transit, this is going to be coming back up for you from your past or from a past life. Let's roll some dice to get more insights. We have Gemini, the sign of duality. So it's being highlighted pretty clearly that this is a fork that is going out in 2 directions. You have to choose, are we going to go this way or that way? We have the number 4. Okay, what I'm feeling intuitively is that this might not be something that you can talk to a lot of people about. Either because it's such a deeply personal journey, or maybe you feel like people wouldn't really understand what you're going through. Maybe in the past you found that talking to people about it or asking for advice didn't really help. It just made you even more confused, or it just made you even more discouraged. And I do think this is a choice that entirely has to come from you. It has to come from your own soul and your own inner voice. I also just heard the signs are everywhere. If you get out of your head and look around in the world around you, the signs are everywhere about the path that your soul wants to take. And we also have the number 3. So the number 43 or 34 could be significant to you somehow, or the number 7, or any dates that have these numbers in them, 3, 4, or 7. Gemini is associated with the 3rd house, so this makes sense. And the 3rd house makes me think about the things we interact with on a day-to-day basis, like our immediate surroundings, the places we frequent, the people we talk to. So you may be making a choice during this transit that really changes, I want to say, the fabric of your everyday life. Maybe it changes, like you're changing where you live or what your social circle is or what you do with your time. Your daily life would look vastly different were you to choose another path. Maybe this is like a, do I stay on the same path or do I diverge? Do I choose a path that's similar to where I've already been, or do I do something completely different? It's something like that. And there's also something about the more people you talk to about it, the more confused you get. Because at the end of the day, there's not really a right answer, you know? So making this choice based on somebody else's advice or based on like a logical analysis, it's not going to work. It has to come from your soul and it has to sit right with your soul. If you have any Gemini placements, this is very interesting because when the nodes move into Virgo and Pisces, then the nodes at some point are going to be squaring any Gemini placements you have, which that causes tension, that kind of stirs the pot a little bit. So I think this node transit is going to show you what in your life is out of alignment and where you're really meant to be going, where your soul truly wants to go. So let's look at your oracle cards. So this literally says the answer is inside of you. So that's exactly what we've just been talking about. I think the fact that this is a number 22 card is very significant because that's the number of the High Priestess. That's your inner world. That's your inner guidance, your inner wisdom. It's really, really, really coming through that the answer comes from inside of you. And I also think for this group, you need to stop worrying so much about was that a sign or not? And start realizing that anytime you perceive something as a sign, there is valuable information in that. If you didn't care about something, you wouldn't see it as a sign. And I think I use this example frequently, but one time I had a dream that I was back with my ex and we were like super in love. And when I woke up, I was just like, huh, that was weird. Because I don't care about, well, I care about them, but I don't like, you know what I mean? I didn't wake up like, oh my God, was that a sign? Like, are we meant to be together? Because like, that's not even in, nothing like that exists within me. And what a sign really is just something that is reflecting back to you what exists within you. So in a way, if you thought it was a sign, then yes, it is. Yeah. Okay. So we also have cast away negativity. And just looking at this snake wrapped around the sword, it feels like you're protecting your inner truth. There's also something about, this is a really interesting wording coming through. I don't know, maybe you know why this wording is being used, but there's something about making yourself ugly. It's like if you imagine you're walking through busy streets and you don't want anybody to approach you, so you walk around with a resting bitch face, or like you walk around with a kind of scowl on your face. So it's like at heart, you are very kind and friendly and loving, but you might not show that side of yourself because you don't want to attract all the moths to your flame. It's like you're kind of hiding your gifts or hiding all of the goodness that you have to offer because you don't want just anybody to see it or anybody to be able to access it. And there's that message again of like, the ones who get it, get it. The ones who get it, get it. If you know, you know. This might also be for some of you a decision that you don't want to have big commercial success, or you don't want your gift to be seen or known by the public masses at large. And you would rather be in a more niche area or have a more niche community. That could also be a way of interpreting this, because there's just something like, I don't want to attract just anybody into my circle. I don't want to show off my energy to everybody. It's kind of, you have to be special to know it. You have to be special to access it. If you get it, you get it. Interesting. Ooh, okay. We have shower of abundance with the number 21. So significant numbers, 21, 22. I was going to say 33, 34. Maybe perhaps some people are turning those ages during this transit, 43 as well. This is pretty literal. So you are going to be showered with abundance during this transit. And I love that from the previous message, because you don't have to worry about what you should do. Going with your gut, going with what your soul wants will lead to abundance. And also, staying in your own niche and not catering to everybody will lead to abundance. This is what it is. You don't want to make yourself palatable. You don't want to water yourself down so that everybody finds you pleasant. Yeah. You're rejecting. I also think there could be something in there about making yourself ugly, which I think is really metaphorical. It's not like you're ugly, but imagine that society has this standard of like, this is what's beautiful, this is what's acceptable. And you're not trying to fit that anymore. And in fact, you're embracing your tastes that might go against that. It's like if society said, oh, long hair is so beautiful. And you're like, actually, I kind of want to be bald. And I'm not going to let that standard scare me from doing it anymore. I'm just going to be unapologetically bald. And if that's making myself ugly, quote unquote, I don't care. Or you want to go a certain direction with your creative project, and someone's like, oh, well, that's going to be very unattractive to the labels. They're not going to like that. Or like the masses are going to think that's disturbing or weird. And you're like, I don't care. So it's not like you're just like purposely going against the grain to get a reaction. I think you're no longer afraid to embrace the parts of yourself that go against the grain. And if like, I don't know, if the public or an algorithm or a boss or whatever doesn't like it, it's like, oh, I don't care. And I'm not afraid, because you're getting over some fear that you need to water yourself down to receive abundance, or that you need to be more pleasant to the larger masses in order to receive abundance. And that's just not true. You can be exactly who you are, and you can tune in and listen to what your soul says. Like, you're giving yourself permission to do that. I love this energy. Oof. We also have, this is the lotus flower that blooms through the mud. You know, lotus flowers, they come up through the mud in the pond or whatever, but when they bloom, they're completely untouched by all of the dirt. They're pure. Some of you could be healing from the idea that what you've been through in the past has like damaged you or broken you or tainted you in some way, that you've come out of everything you've been through completely whole and complete and pure, just as you always were. That you're not going to let something from the past be like a stain on your soul. You're not going to let it define you. You're freeing yourself from it. And you're not... I'm hearing like I've been through shit. I've been through shit in my life. And because of that, I am no longer afraid of going through shit. It seems like you're facing the world with this kind of bring it on mentality. Because you've seen how you can grow and thrive anywhere. You've seen your magic of how you can take a shitty situation and alchemize it into something beautiful. That's your power. And that's something you should give yourself credit for. Rather than saying, thank you, life, for giving me this shitty situation because you made me stronger. You're saying like, thank you, me, for making something beautiful out of that shitty situation. You're so amazing that you could do that. There's something very empowering about giving yourself the credit and the gratitude for transmuting the situation in the way that you have. And there's something really freeing and beautiful in you embracing that life is messy and you're not afraid of the mess anymore because you know that you can turn it all into gold. So it's like, show me what you got, life. Okay, I feel like this is a scene from a movie. Please let me know if this is from a movie and what movie this is from. But I'm seeing a man like standing in the middle of a storm and yelling, "Is that all you've got?" And I'm sure that's from a movie. Is that all you got? Like, oh, that's cute, like, bring it kind of vibes. Okay, let's get into your tarot. Okay, definitely empowerment is a big theme for you during this transit. Some of you could actually be Pisces ascendants. So the North Node would be moving into your first house. You could also be Aries ascendant. Quite fitting that we have a snake too, because we are now in the year of the snake in 2025. So I feel like if a snake is appearing in your reading, that's kind of saying this is your year. I also just looked up at the camera timer and saw 2013. So 2013 could have been a significant year for you somehow. Something that started in 2013 could be coming to a culmination during this period. Okay, we have the Seven of Pentacles and the Hierophant. Okay. We have the Tower. The Four of Swords. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Pentacles. I'm just gonna move these up. Okay. The Nine of Pentacles, this is definitely representing you, and it is a reiteration of the shower of abundance message. So funny, just as I said, shower of abundance, which is card 21, the camera timer went to 2121. Perhaps 21 is a lucky number for you in some way, 12 or 21. The two birds flying above you is making me think of perhaps two spirit guides or two passed on loved ones who are watching over you. A snail could be a significant spirit animal for you. Perhaps you have an animal spirit who is watching over you, like a companion animal who passed away. Just looking at these two birds, and the fact that they're white too, it feels like a soul, because I'm thinking of Six of Cups, like a soul you've known for a long time, a soul you've known since childhood. So for example, like a family member who passed in your childhood or was a really big part of your childhood. When did my nail fall off? Or like your childhood pet or something like that. A loved one from childhood is watching over you. They may even appear as animals here on Earth. So, for example, I have a cat who passed away, and whenever I see a butterfly or a bee, I feel like that's her visiting me. So those animals remind me of her. I don't know if it's literally a snail, but there may be an animal who visits you, and that's like the soul of your passed on loved one coming to see you. Also something about like pearls, a string of pearls, or like fancy jewelry could be significant to this loved one. But yes, as I was saying, this is a huge reiteration of the abundance that is coming your way. Definitely material, as we see this person is holding the abundance in their hands, which gives the sense of something tangible, and the coins as well. So there is absolutely more money coming your way during this transit. And you're going to find that money means more to you depending on where it's coming from. Like money that you make through an authentic project, it feels so much better. Like that, yes, maybe it's the same amount. Like let's say you made $100 from this project you don't care about versus $100 from this passion project. It's technically the same amount, but it's not the same amount. Energetically, it's not the same. When you receive it from your passion, it feels way, way more valuable. And you're developing a really nice relationship with money where you don't see it as a way to boost your status, but rather as this precious energy exchange that happens between you and others. You know, you receive it because you gave something of value, and then you give it to others when they give you something of value. And perhaps in a way, your relationship with money is becoming more spiritual or energetic in nature. You're just kind of viewing it in a very different way. So for any of you who struggle with limiting beliefs around money, feelings of guilt, or feeling like it's unspiritual, or having an aversion to it, anything like that, I think you're definitely repairing your relationship with it during this transit. When I saw the Seven of Pentacles, I immediately thought of work that you are willing to do as a labor of love that not many others are. I imagine you as this rabbit who is willing to harvest the field. And many rabbits passed through here before you, looked at the field and said, that's gonna take too long, and walked away. And you're like, well, I'll do it. Like, I'll take my time harvesting this field. I think it's worth it. I like the field, I'll do it. And maybe it's something time consuming, Or like, I also see like you searching through something. Maybe, okay, I'm seeing people in a thrift shop and they're like, oh my God, there's way too many things here. Like, let's just go somewhere else where it's like easy to find what we want. And you're like, are you kidding me? I'm gonna carefully look through every piece of clothing here. It's something time consuming that maybe you just naturally like to do it, but most people can't be bothered. And as you go through piece by piece by piece, you find some amazing gems that maybe you can keep yourself or you can sell them, whatever, but you were the one who was willing to take the time to find those gems and not take a shortcut. Let me know if you know what this is about, because the way I'm seeing it visually represented is you like carefully, I'm also seeing like vinyl records. You're going through them one by one to try to find the perfect one. It could be sorting through files. You could be doing something manually that most people are like, oh, this is a pain in the butt. Like you're not taking any shortcuts. And then we have the Hierophant next to this, and I think you are this Hierophant. You seem to be in some kind of teacher energy or someone who has authority, and I think it's directly related to this Seven of Pentacles because you took the time to do this task. You can teach from experience. You have a lot of authority on the subject where others might not, because they couldn't be bothered to do something. And I don't mean that to be in a judgmental way of like, oh, they're lazy. Like maybe it just wasn't in their soul's path. And their soul said like, no, let's keep it moving. That's not for us. But you were like, I absolutely can be bothered. My soul would love to read this 800-page book and highlight it from front to back. My soul would love to sift through all of these files and try to find something good. My soul would love to declutter this mansion and see what I can find in here. Like, are you kidding me? And because you're doing that thorough work, you have more knowledge or authority or power. You can teach something better or you can speak about something better. You could also be able to challenge authority because of this. Ooh, like imagine someone being like, you shouldn't do that because the Bible says blah, blah, blah. And you're like, actually, I've read the entire Bible and it does not say that anywhere. Whereas most people have not read it. And so they'll just take whatever that person is saying as a given. You're like, oh, you mean on page 279? Actually, it says, well, and you like recite it word for word because you're being a little bit extra with it, honestly. And I'm here for it. I love that. Like, you took the time to learn your shit, so nobody can take advantage of you. I think there's a lot of times when somebody says something with confidence, like this Hierophant, we'll just take their word for it because we're like, oh, you know, they sound like they know what they're talking about and I don't know anything about that, so I'm sure what they're saying is correct, but not you. You are becoming perhaps a very reliable voice in a certain field or in a certain space. You really know your stuff, and I'm telling you, like, whatever field you're in, there's not going to be a lot of competition for you. Because again, the vast majority of people just cannot be bothered to do this tedious work. I think because I want to say you eat it up like a little bunny eating leaves. You really genuinely enjoy it. And maybe that's something a little bit weird about you. And I don't mean that in a bad way. A quirk about you that can work in your favor. Maybe there's a very niche subject that you can retain a lot of knowledge about. I also see during this transit that something in your life is falling apart. And imagine this is happening at the same time. You're this bunny that is sleeping. You're just sleeping through it. It's like, okay, wait 1 second. I'm gonna actually show the picture. This is you. You know this meme? This is you. You're this like unbothered Squidward. For some reason at first I took this really literally, that some of you could be sleeping through an earthquake or something like that, and you wake up the next day and you're like, there was an earthquake last night? This could also be something ending in your life, and as it's crashing and burning, you realize that actually you don't want to rebuild it. I had a situation like this once where someone in my life ghosted me, and I realized in that moment that I didn't actually want to try reaching out to them, because as the days turned into weeks and the weeks turned into months, I was like, this is actually kind of peaceful. And it was only when they ghosted me that I realized how much chaos they had actually been bringing into my life, and I didn't want to go running after them. So that's my personal experience that I think when I look at this. Maybe for you it's something else, but it does look like something falling apart or leaving your life. And once it's gone, you realize like, wait, I actually don't want to even try to get this back, because this is actually a vibe. Like, I have some peace and quiet. Maybe I'll just let it go. I also thought of something is crashing and burning now that you are gone. And you're like, oh, that sucks, sarcastically. Because maybe someone didn't see your value, or someone didn't take your advice. Imagine you were hired to give a company advice, and every piece of advice you gave, they rejected it, and then they fired you because they didn't like your advice. And now you see that very same company like failing because they didn't implement what you said. And you're like, that's too bad, isn't it? Like, oh, that sounds kind of petty. Maybe it is, but you have a right to be petty in this situation, because like, you did everything you were supposed to do, and someone didn't listen to you, or someone didn't see your worth, and now they're just like learning the hard way. Oh, it sounds bad, but there's nothing you can do because they didn't want to listen. And maybe in some way, depending on the situation, maybe this is the loving thing that you can do, because maybe going to save whoever this is would be kind of enabling them, and maybe this is just something they have to learn on their own. But yeah, this can be interpreted in so many different ways, but it does look like something falling apart or something ending, and you're just not engaging with it. You're like, okay, I'm just gonna let it happen. I'm gonna let the chaos ensue because I just feel like it needs to happen. And I feel like that kind of goes back to this Lotus message, which was, you know, I'm not afraid of chaos anymore. I'm not afraid of adversity anymore. Just, I'm gonna let it happen, because it actually is a lot harder trying to resist it. It's surrender. Surrendering for how things will unfold. And being very discerning what you invest in, because you see here, you're very invested. You can be bothered to do the tedious work when your soul wants to. Here, you just cannot. So maybe this transit is going to be a really eye-opening time for you. Of your soul will tell you when it's worth making the effort. And maybe you'll even feel it in your body. If something's really not worth the effort for you, your body might try to tell you that by making you tired or by making you lethargic. And when your body feels like excited and enthusiastic about something, that is enough guidance. Like that is the right answer. You don't have to doubt that or second guess that. Your body and your soul are extremely wise. They will show you, if you just listen, like where to put your energy. And you don't have to put your energy anywhere that feels wrong or bad in order to receive this shower of abundance. Truly. Okay, so group number 1, those are all the messages I'm seeing for you. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching this, and a wonderful 18-month transit of the nodes. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where we now have over 1,000 exclusive timeless readings, just like the ones we do on my channel. We also have 2 new readings a month, and you can decide the topics for those. So I'll have that linked down below. And my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video, that is an original song. I'll also have my latest release linked down below. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, to your higher self, to anyone who appeared in this reading, to their higher self, and to your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye! Hi, number 2s. So if you chose the aquamarine, this is going to be your reading. Before I started filming your group, I heard something that was kind of funny to me. I heard vitamin D is literally free because you can just go outside and get it from the sun. So I thought that there could be a message for you in there if we interpret it a little bit, or maybe that literal message is for some of you. But I think during this transit, you may be finding solutions, especially in terms of like health and wellness and things like that, that are more affordable or more available, or perhaps more natural. So, for example, I don't need to buy this $300 skin cream because this $20 one has literally the same ingredients in it and it works the same. Or like, I don't have to buy this hair mask, I can make it at home, or something like that. It's like you're taking a more natural route, or you are saving money because you just realize like, I don't need all of this expensive stuff to take care of myself or to get this result that I want, or something like that. I don't need to pay for my gym membership. I can work out for free in my house, or like running outside. That kind of vibe. I hope that that makes sense. I also think there's something in there about realizing that little things can go a long way in making you feel good. So even if I take that message literally, maybe you realize that, wow, like spending time out in nature or spending time out in the sunshine really does improve my mood more than I thought it would. Or like just taking a few moments to breathe really does help calm me down. Or taking a moment to hug my loved one makes all of my worries fly away. And it's like, oh, there's something really sweet in that. It's finding healing and finding comforts in just the little everyday things in your life. And there's a feeling of, I don't need all this extra stuff, really. I don't need to be striving for all this extra stuff. Maybe life is becoming simpler again. Maybe you're feeling more grounded, more down to earth. It's giving like Taurian energy. I'm feeling sensual right now, but like I'm feeling that energy of things that are sensual and things that are sensory, the sense of physical touch and physical comforts, physical affection. You could be getting snuggled up with someone during this transit. enjoying physical touch or physical connections. For some of you, that could be a sign of getting to see someone in person, or a long distance relationship not being long distance anymore, or having a significant other to cuddle up to if you don't already. You could also be cuddling with an animal, as I have Yumi snuggling behind me right now. But let's get into your reading. So we're gonna start by taking some little papers from this box. I love this box so much. It was gifted to me. Isn't she so cute? So we're gonna take 3 papers from here and see what this reading is going to be about for you. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, a secret admirer, but the secret has a question mark. So is it really a secret, or do you deep down know that someone is into you? Or maybe you're secretly admiring someone, but it's not so secret. We have subconscious. And why is this happening? And 444, as I'm holding up, why is this happening? Okay, during this transit, you are going to be getting a lot of clarity about things that you have been experiencing, and honestly, it does feel like spiritual or psychic experiences. Why do I keep having these dreams? Why do I keep feeling this energy around me? Why do I keep seeing these synchronicities? During this transit, all of those unknowns are going to be made known. You will understand the mechanism behind the phenomena. I don't know why I had to use those big words, but understanding what's going on behind the scenes to make you have these experiences. I do want to say, if any of you have been experiencing something in your body that you can't explain, like pertaining to your health, like I can't figure out what's wrong, I can't figure out what's going on, you could very well be getting those answers during this transit as well, like getting a proper diagnosis, or like finally understanding what underlying conditions are there so that you can treat it properly. You don't just have to be at the mercy of what is happening to you. You understand why, and you know that you can do something about it. So whether that's something that's happening to you physically or something that you've been experiencing energetically, it's like you're no longer at its mercy. Maybe you're like, why do I keep having dreams about this person or this situation? And you realize why, and then you can do something with that. You can cut the cord with that person if you want to, or you can have more lucid dreams with them if you want to. Once you understand the mechanism, there's that word again. Once you understand the mechanism behind it and like what is causing this phenomenon, then you have more agency in your experience with it. Many of you will be going through some kind of experience where you're making your subconscious conscious. I don't know if these messages are maybe related to someone admiring you or you admiring someone, but anything that was hidden seems to be coming to light now. Let's roll some dice. Okay, we have the South Node coming up, which, shout out, that's what the reading is about. It's about the nodes. We have Jupiter. And we have Gemini. So interestingly, Jupiter is currently in Gemini, and it's going to stay there until June 9th. That could be a significant day, or just like from now until June. Actually, you could be watching this after June, but you're probably not. You're probably watching this like in early 2025. The first 6 months of 2025 could be a time of significant revelations for you, significant clarity. Anything in your past as well that you were confused about, like why did it happen this way? Why did I go through these things? Or what was I supposed to learn from that past, I want to say clusterfuck. Like maybe you're looking back at a certain period of your life and being like, that was such a clusterfuck. Like why did that happen? And things that you had written off. Oh, that's going to be super validating. You're finally going to get clarity of what was going on then and realize that something was not in your head. Interesting. And this can play out in so many different ways, you know. I'm thinking of someone who maybe they look back at their student days and they're like, oh my God, why was I such a horrible student? I don't know, maybe I was just lazy or something. And then they learn that they have ADHD, for example. And so it's like looking back, they're like, oh my God, now I understand why school was such an awful time for me. And it's validating because they're like, that wasn't just in my head, or like, it wasn't just that there was something like wrong or something weird going on with me. There was a very clear explanation. This is why I struggled like that. And now that I have this information, I can do something about it. Or maybe someone felt like they were going crazy thinking that a person had a crush on them. They're like, I feel this connection between us and like, what is going on? And then nothing happens. And they're like, okay, I just made it up. Then years later, that person says, oh yeah, I had a huge crush on you at that time and I was always trying to get your attention and I was always watching your stories and you're like, oh my God, like, so there was something there. It's that some confusion from the past that you couldn't figure it out. So you just like chalked it up to being in your head, or you chalked it up to being like there's something wrong with you and you just kind of forgot about it. I'm hearing like maybe I misremembered. I remember this person mistreating me, but maybe I misremembered it. And then years later they come back like, I was really bad to you back then and I'm sorry for what I did. And it's like, holy crap, so I didn't misremember it. That did happen. You did mistreat me. I wasn't crazy. Ooh, like I'm getting emotional. The clarity is coming and it validates everything you had been through. And there's this feeling of, oh my God, so I'm not crazy. Oh my God, so that actually was happening. Wow. That could definitely bring up mixed emotions, but it's largely a positive thing because you can move forward with clarity. You can maybe repair a relationship of trust with your intuition because you realize that it was correct the whole time. You're reframing a past period of your life because you might have just dismissed it as like, oh, I was just a Lulu back then, or like, I didn't know what I was talking about. But yes, you did. That's like redemption for your relationship with your intuition. Okay, so looking at your oracle cards, we have make time for yourself. We have Luna. Wow. Child of the universe. I'm just gonna cover, probably don't have to, but just to be safe, I will cover the nip here. And we have, this is like the King of Jewels, the Moonlight Jewel. Finding the light in the darkness. The Luna card is freaking me out because I had a dream last night that I was doing a reading and a card came out that said Luna on it. And I didn't know that there was a Luna card in this deck. So it's not like I intentionally chose it because of that dream. That's really spooky. So something like that could be happening to you, especially during this transit where you feel like you're becoming more psychic through your dreams. You see something in a dream and then it happens. So probably you are having a lot of lucid dreams or very vivid dreams. You remember them very well. They're not like weird abstract stuff like your dad is a guinea pig and you're in a hot air balloon, but like you're on another planet. You know, when you just have dreams like that seem to make no sense. I think you're having very clear ones that it's quite obvious what they're trying to tell you. The moon is coming up a lot. Oh, on all 4 cards, the moon is coming up. There's the moon here, there's Luna, there's the moon here, and this is the moonlight jewel. That's crazy. All 4 cards. Wow. I also want to say that the month of February could be significant because just looking at the number 28, it made me think of February having 28 days in it. Oh, and 28 is the cycle of the moon. Like the moon takes 28 days to go around the earth. That's so crazy. Let me know if you know why there's such strong like lunar energy or moon or Luna energy. Maybe somebody named Luna is significant as well. A person or a spirit, an organization called like Luna something. I have a couple friends who are tarot readers and their channel name has something to do with Luna or lunar in it. So maybe you have someone like that as well. Maybe it's you. Maybe you are coming up with a name. Even my friend who gave this to me, their company is called Moonflower. Huh. Someone wants you to bring your attention to the moon, that's for sure. If you have to think of a name for something, maybe putting something about the moon or something lunar could bring you good luck. Like, I don't know, if you made a company, maybe it's called like Luna something, or maybe you have a child named Luna or an animal named Luna. Luna Lovegood. I'm thinking of Luna Lovegood too. Anyway, I think take a shot every time I say moon. But this could also be highlighting a strong feminine energy or a strong maternal energy. Maybe you are connecting with your divine feminine energy or the divine mother. There could be something about your relationship with your mother where you're getting clarity or closure or deepening your bond, if that's something you desire to do. You could be becoming a mother or a parent during this transit, or thinking about that future for yourself, making a decision about that future for yourself. The moon also makes me think of fluctuations, like we see the phases of the moon here. I think you're learning how to give yourself grace for the way your energy shifts, how energetic you are, how social you might be feeling, how motivated you might be feeling, how happy or sad you're feeling, and not putting pressure on yourself to stay one way. You know, today I'm happy, I might be sad tomorrow, that's okay. If I'm sad tomorrow, I'll take care of myself and then I'll be happy again. You're embracing those ups and downs. I was super productive this week, and maybe next week I'm not going to be super productive, and I will love myself the same. Loving and nurturing yourself through all of those ebbs and flows, I think is the word, through all of those fluctuations and all of those changes. Loving yourself unconditionally the way the Divine Mother would love one of her children, no matter what phase they might be going through in their life. I feel like this making alone time is very literal. So during this transit, you may find that you start to crave alone time more and more, or really value uninterrupted alone time, and maybe going like a level deeper with that. So maybe now your definition of alone time is just, being the only one there. But as you move through this transit, you start to want even more solitude. So maybe you turn off your phone. Maybe you go out for the day and you don't tell someone where you're at. So you make yourself kind of not reachable so that you can just be in your own company and be with your own thoughts. And not feeling bad about that, not feeling guilt about people need access to me at all times, or people are entitled to my time and energy at all times. Like giving some of that back to yourself. Maybe it's at night that you're able to do this, and that's why we have the moon here. Or going back to the period of a month, like the lunar cycle. Maybe you just take a month off, or you do like a month-long social media detox, or you go on a retreat and I just face palmed with both of my hands. So I don't know where that came from. Maybe some of you guys are feeling really exasperated and you're like, I need a break from all of this. I'm putting my fingers on my temples. I'm just ugh, maybe you're too stimulated. Maybe you're too overwhelmed and you need a getaway. You need a retreat. And the fact that I made that gesture so unconsciously, I think if you ignore your needs, they'll show up in your body. Maybe you can tell you need a break because you're starting to feel more irritable and you try to fight it, but then one day you do, what do you call that? Click your tongue at someone and you're like, oh my God, did I just do that out loud? I can't hide that I'm getting more irritable and I really need to take a break because I can't be out here doing this. Your body cannot, you cannot deceive your body. If you're holding stress or tension, or if you need a rest, your body's gonna let you know somehow. You're gonna start tripping up like that. So yeah, I don't think that's ever happened in a reading where I just face palm myself. I'm like, oh good Lord, I need a day off kind of vibes. Yeah, there's definitely some of you out there who are in this energy, and really there is no need to feel guilty for that, because taking that time to recharge, if you really want to keep centering other people, taking that time to recharge is how you can best show up for them and how you can best care for them. But I think you yourself are a good enough reason to care for yourself. And then we have this beautiful King of Jewels, and the story behind this card is that it is the brightest shining jewel in paradise. So I think during this transit, you are discovering a new love, something that you have loved more than anything or anyone ever. I'm looking at this mother holding her child, and I imagine that's how a mother would feel when they give birth and hold their baby for the first time. They're like, oh my God, you are the most precious jewel in this whole universe. You are the brightest shining gem in my whole life, in my whole world. It's that kind of love for something so precious that you have never experienced before. Whether it could even be in yourself, you've never felt a love for yourself this strongly before, and it's really moving. It could be towards humanity. It could be towards the planet. It could be towards a soulmate, a friend, like anything. But even the rainbow in this card, like it's giving 10 of Cups vibes. It's just feeling a deep love like you've never felt before. And there's almost this sense of, oh, now I really understand what love is. And I really understand how deep it goes. There's a song like, how deep is your love? Who is that by? How deep is your love? It was like a really popular EDM song. Calvin Harris and Disciples. And that is Gigi Hadid in the thumbnail. I won't play it because copyright, but maybe I'll link that song for you. That could be significant somehow. Let me also see what year it was released, because that could be a message for you as well. Holy crap, it has 1.6 billion views, and it was released on August 6, 2015. And apparently the album is called 96 Months. I just saw that in the YouTube description. I now have a sensation like my ears are popping, so that could be relevant as well. Oh my gosh. I didn't mean to do this either, but I just realized that the tarot deck we're using today is called Lunalapin, like Luna Rabbit. Oh man, the Luna is everywhere. Funny story, I used to think when I thought I would have kids that I would name my daughter Luna, and I had like picked out the like characters for it and everything. And then I was online once, and I think it was like a forum where people were talking about cringe baby names, and they were like, oh my god, I saw someone who named their kid Luna and they wrote it like this, like using these characters. Isn't that so cringe? And it was literally the characters that I picked, and I was like, oops. But who cares, you know? If you like something, doesn't matter if it's cringe. I just thought it was funny. Okay. So we're gonna look at some tarot to see what else you can expect during this transit. We have the Five of Pentacles. This fell on the floor. I swear to God, we have the Moon. We have the Hermit. The Wheel of Fortune. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Four of Cups. Four of Cups is also a tarot card that is ruled by the Moon. So, and also interestingly, we have the Moon, which is associated with Pisces, and the Hermit, which is associated with Virgo, and that's the signs that the nodes are going into. With the Wheel of Fortune here, there's gonna be changes happening in your life, but not things that you plan or things that you control. I feel like this is a period of your life for the next year and a half where you will feel the influence of fate or destiny quite strongly. I do see for you that there's going to be signs and synchronicities going through the roof, and your spiritual team is sending them on purpose because you have reached a place within yourself where you no longer invalidate your spiritual or psychic experiences. You trust what your intuition is telling you. And it's like now your spiritual team knows you're in a place to receive, to correctly receive their messages, because you're not going to doubt them. I think you can expect your spiritual team and your higher self to become a lot more clear and literal with the messages they give you. And that kind of goes back to, I think we were talking about that before, like you're starting to have very clear dreams, maybe even prophetic dreams. And it's no mistake that you're starting to receive messages like this now, because it's like your spiritual team knows that now, the person you have become, the place you have reached within yourself, you will believe the messages and you'll receive them properly, and you won't dismiss them. There's some truth that your spiritual team wants to unveil to you that they hadn't previously, because I'm hearing it was so sacred that it's like they wanted to wait until you were ready to receive it and wait until you would really believe them. It may even be the answer to a question that you've been asking them many times, but they never really gave you a straight answer. And it's because they kind of knew, even if we tell you right now, you're not going to believe us. Part of you is asking because part of you wants to know. But it's like, even if we tell you, you're not going to really receive the message. You're not going to believe us. And the truth is so sacred. They wanted to wait until you were in a place that you could really receive it and believe what they were telling you. So now, during this transit, now is the time that you're going to start to see all of the answers to your questions very clearly. I just heard they will tell you once, because once is all it takes. When you really believe, you only have to hear it once and you'll know that it's the truth. They don't have to tell you over and over again. You'll be like, okay, I see it. I get the message. I understand. Wow. The Hermit card, I think, is quite literal with this Oracle card of making time for yourself. The Hermit and the Moon together definitely feel like getting cozy, making a cozy space for yourself in your inner world, and recognizing the realness of your inner world and the power of your inner world. I think in many ways the changes that are coming into your life are such that your outer world will be a reflection of your inner world. And with the Five of Pentacles here, I'm interpreting this as you sort of turning away. I don't know if that's exactly the right word, but maybe putting less importance on what's unfolding in the physical world and the material world, because you know that your inner world is more powerful than that. You know that your inner world influences the outer world and not the other way around, I'm hearing. You're not planting the seeds of your happiness and fulfillment and inner peace in the physical world. You're planting it in your inner world. And then the seeds sustain themselves and nourish themselves. Why is this Four of Cups here? You're simplifying your life. Yeah. You're simplifying your life. You could be doing less, because it's like you're spending more alone time, more peaceful time, more quiet time. You want more time unplugged. You want more time to contemplate. My friend was just telling me yesterday about his experience going to, I think it was a week that he stayed with monks in a temple, and they woke up super early and got everything they needed to do for the day finished by like 7:30 in the morning. And then the rest of the day was just spent for contemplation. I'm not saying you're going to do something so extreme as that, but I really see you carving out a lot more time to be in your inner world and to be with yourself and to be with your thoughts. Whereas in the past, you may have felt like, oh, if I have these free hours in my day, I have to give them to someone. I have to fill up these hours with something. And if someone asks me if I'm free, I have to say yes, because technically I have this free time in my calendar. Whereas now, you're actually like setting aside that block of time just for yourself and being like, no, I can't go, or like, I can't do that. Because it's like your sacred time. It's your personal time that you're realizing is actually quite important to your well-being, and it's not frivolous to give yourself this time like for relaxation or for reflection or for intention setting. You're really prioritizing that inner peace and prioritizing your mental health. Just because I technically have the time, it doesn't mean that I have to do it. Maybe we're also, I'm seeing this Five of Pentacles as like a rejection of the material world, maybe a rejection of materialism, a rejection of I refuse to believe that my goal is to find a way to monetize as much of my day as possible, or make as much of my day into work as possible, or to be as productive as possible, or to output as much as possible. I refuse to play that game. I refuse to believe that the goal of my life is to work really hard so I can make more money for more possessions. Like, it all just seems so... Certain things about the material world that maybe once seemed really like shiny and aspirational to you, you're now kind of feeling like, maybe even feeling like it's a bit of a scam to suck your energy out of you, or your time, or your attention, or your life force. And you're reclaiming all of that for yourself. And also realizing that moments of stillness are important to receive inspirations and to receive downloads of what to do next. So in that sense, it actually is a part of you taking action. And in a way, it is productive. Instead of just diving into things without first centering yourself, you could do a lot more efficient work if you just took this time to be still and be quiet and let the downloads find you, let the inspiration find you. I hope that that makes sense. It seems like you're becoming more purposeful, more peaceful, and a big theme as well is repairing trust with your intuition and validating what you'd been through in the past. There's something you realize like, oh, that was real. I wasn't making that up. And another theme was your spiritual team becoming very literal and very clear about their messages and sharing a very secret. I wanted to say sacred, but maybe it's secret. Also, a secret truth with you. And now I'm thinking back to this secret admirer. Yeah. So I think that those are all the messages for my group number 2s. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. And I wish you a wonderful 18-month transit of the nodes. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where we now have over 100 exclusive timeless readings, just like the ones we do here on my channel. And there's also 2 new ones every month, and you guys get to choose the topics for those. So I will have that link down below. And my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video, that is an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, your higher self, to anyone who appeared in this reading, to their higher self, and to your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye! Hi, number 3s. So if you guys chose the agate star, this is going to be your reading. Yumi fell asleep and she's snoring now. So if that is something that bothers you, then that might be the sign that this is not your group. But there's a couple of things that are coming through. First of all, there was a specific message about a major city that a lot of people mistakenly think is the capital of a country, but it's not the capital. So maybe you live in a city like that, or you'll be visiting or relocating to a city like that. And then also I was seeing a car. I saw a car that has like black leather interior. It looks very nice. So that could be a literal message for some of you. Perhaps you are getting a car or getting a driver's license or having some interesting experience with a car. For example, maybe you get to ride in a luxury car, or maybe you get to ride in a limo or something like that. And this could metaphorically be about your life speeding up. You know, like we're stepping on the gas kind of vibes. And then I also had this image of a man specifically who has like a really cool luxury, like sports car kind of vibes. And now I'm smelling figs for some reason. I don't know, there's a lot going on. So you could be this man with the sports car, or maybe you will meet someone who has a really nice car. I also think, more metaphorically speaking, there could be a message there for some of you that in this transit, you will acquire something that a lot of people covet, but that very few people can get. And this could be a possession, but it could also be like status or like reputation, something like that. Okay, so let's start your reading. We are going to start by getting some papers out of this box. This is my tarot box. My friend made this for me. It's so cute. So we are going to pull 3 papers from here to see what this transit is going to be all about for you. 1, 2, 3. I think that's 3. Okay, what is this transit all about for group number 3? You are divinely guided. Okay, so going into this next year and a half, you definitely need to know that you are guided and you are on the right path. The plans that are in place now, the directions you're headed in, you are divinely guided. So there's nothing to worry about. Yeah, that's so funny. You are divinely guided. Someone is guiding you. Just in case, just in case you needed to hear it again. When I was holding up these cards, I saw 317 on the camera timer, which could be a significant number for some of you. Maybe March 17th is like a significant date coming up, or someone's birthday. I also saw 333. And we have the timing isn't right. So if something has been delayed for you or postponed, or if something just hasn't happened yet, I think you really need to know that this is all part of the divine plan. It's very important to note that this doesn't say your path isn't right for you or what you desire isn't right for you. It's just the timing. The camera timer was at 4:04 when I held that up, and then I was thinking about the 4:04 error, like 4:04 not found. So it could not be the right timing yet, because something that is going to be integral in your journey to success, like, isn't there yet or doesn't exist yet. I'm imagining it's as if you're really anxious to access a website and your spiritual team is like, well, the website doesn't exist yet. So like, even if you type it now, it's not going to lead anywhere. Or like, the website didn't go live yet. So even if you try to access it now, it's not going to be there. And so it's not a matter of you did something wrong. It's not a matter of you're not ready. It's just something isn't there yet, or something doesn't exist yet. So Yeah, that might be why things are taking longer than you would want. It could be something with the other parties involved or something going on behind the scenes, but it's not meant to be taken that this path isn't meant for you, or that like you're not meant to receive this. It's not that at all, okay? I feel like I rambled a bit there, but it's totally a timing thing. It's just not the time yet. So let's roll some dice. We have Aries. We have number 2, which represents the second house. Okay. And we have Pluto. Okay, this transit is going to bring in some kind of lasting change, because Pluto, it does talk about changes and very like groundbreaking, transformative changes. And when Pluto enters a sign, it stays there for a very, very long time. I think 20 something years, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, this transit of the nodes is only a year and a half, but I think the changes that happen during this transit will affect you for a long time. They will happen quickly, so at first you might think that they're not gonna last. You know, sometimes like when things happen in your life really quickly, you think like, oh, it's too good to be true, or oh, it's gonna be easy come, easy go. But with time, you'll find that these changes stick around and that they're really worth something and they're really meaningful. Just an example that's coming to my mind is someone who has been wanting to meet their life partner, like meet someone who's good for them. And they've been waiting for this person for years, and then seemingly out of nowhere, they meet someone, and within like weeks, they've completely fallen for them. So it's like after this long period of no progress, suddenly things are happening and things are developing really quickly. So it kind of feels like, oh, this is too good to be true, like something's gonna go wrong, or it feels like, what's the catch, you know? And there is no catch. So things are changing during this transit after a long time of no changes. So it's probably something happening in an area of your life that has been the same forever, that has been really, really stagnant. You know, like, oh, I've been trying to meet someone and it just never works out. I've been trying to make more money and it just never works out. I've been trying to change my fitness levels and it just never works. Like, if you can think of something in your life that is like that, and it's almost like you've just gotten used to the idea that it's going to be this way forever, this transit is saying, no, 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 no. I don't know why I did that. The transit's saying, no, no, no. It's going to change. It's going to change now, and it's going to change quickly, and it's going to stay that way. So get used to it. I think that's what this Aries is talking about. Aries is talking about the speed. The number 2 is talking about the sustainability of it and the long lastingness of it. And Pluto is talking about it being like a big change after a period of stagnation. For some of you, it could have to do with money or your financial situation, because that is what the second house is related to. Some of you guys could be Aquarius risings or Pisces risings or Capricorn risings or Aries. Or someone with that placement could be significant. Libra rising as well. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at your oracle cards. Ooh, okay, so this says like you're using the right words, but this word is more about the energy that words carry, like the spirit that the words have. You're speaking with intention, or the words you speak carry a very unique and powerful energetic signature. Maybe there's something in here about it's not what you say necessarily. It's not about the words you use. It's about what energy you infuse into them. And this is giving me the vibe of you speaking something into existence. Trying something again. Maybe there was a time where you asked for something, you asked for help, or you made it known that you wanted something, but your desires were not met. And this time you're asking again, but the energy that your words carry is different. And so this time it works out. I know we often say, there's that quote of like, insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result. But this feels like you doing or saying the exact same thing, but getting a different result this time because the energetic signature of your words and actions is just completely different. It's like saying to someone, would you like to go on a date with me? But it's carrying an insecure energy versus saying, would you like to go on a date with me? And it's carrying a confident energy. And people can sense that, you know, even if the wording is exactly the same, it's, I don't know, it's like the vibration of it is different. And so it's having a different effect. Try something again because this time your energy is different and it's going to have a different impact. And this time you are going to get what you want. During this transit, you will have the gift of being able to speak with confidence and speak things into existence. You can more confidently assert what you want and what your needs are, what you want to happen, what you expect in a situation, what your ideas are. I think you're really feeling like your voice and ideas deserve to be heard. And things will unfold how you say. So be careful about what you say. Things will unfold exactly how you say them. Quite literally speaking into existence. I do think during this transit you will be more confident, more sure of yourself, more outspoken. I heard you're not letting things slide. You're not allowing things to be swept under the rug. So if someone didn't deliver what they promised, if someone didn't follow instructions properly, you're not gonna just let it slide. Maybe before you used to do that because you were avoiding confrontation. But now you're confident to speak up and say like, oh, actually, you said you were gonna do this, and so you didn't follow through. Can you please do something about that? You're not afraid to speak up about things like that. Okay, so this is the third time this message is coming up now. Divine guidance. You are divinely guided. Someone is guiding you. Divine guidance. Just in case you needed more confirmation again. I do feel like whoever is guiding you is not human. Okay, so it could be an angel. It could be a deity. It could be an extraterrestrial. Okay. Could be a spirit animal. It doesn't feel human necessarily. I'm looking at this visual and I see the frog. It looks like the frog caught the dragonfly. So there's a very strong sign here that during this transit, you are obtaining something that you want. You're finally getting what you want after so long. Maybe that's the thing that a lot of people covet, but not everybody can get. You're the frog who has caught the dragonfly and you're like, yes. I'm also thinking of how The Japanese word for frog it sounds the same as the word for something coming back. So there is also a feeling of you getting a second chance at something. You've tried to obtain what you want before and it didn't work, and now you're making a comeback. You're trying again, and this time it's working. And you might not even really be able to pinpoint what you did differently. Why did it work this time? And why it didn't work last time? I don't know. It's just the timing, or it's just the energy that was imbued in my words. I just have a different vibration this time. And I did the same thing, but it worked differently. And now I caught my dragonfly. And maybe there's a realization here of like, it's never that I was doing something wrong. It's just there's like divine timing at play. And there's unseen forces and unseen energies working so that things unfold in a certain way. And I will succeed if I'm able to tap into those unseen forces and like sense their current and just go with their current. That means you have much less work to do, I'm hearing. If you can tap into those energetic currents and follow them, you will be able to do much less work. It's like a fish in the water who can sense that is it called a rip current? Like in Finding Nemo, when the turtles go into it and they just whoosh. I'm gonna look that up. I don't know. I think it's just called a current. But in Finding Nemo, it was the East Australian current, which is interesting because I feel like Australia is one of those countries where you could mistakenly think that, oh, the capital is Sydney or the capital is Melbourne or something. And then it's actually Canberra, I think is how you pronounce it. Yeah, well, actually, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's Canberra. Yeah, like, I feel like that's a country that maybe doesn't have an obvious capital per se. So there's that message again. Is there anything else? Yeah, and also, this is something that even sounds woo-woo to me, but we're not alone on this earth. You know, there's the physical beings like the humans and the animals and the plants, but there's also non-physical beings on earth who are impacting the way things flow. And so maybe you're kind of tapping into the world of the unseen or the world of the non-physical and getting a sense for what they're doing and what moves they're making and how that impacts us. And I'm sorry, it sounds so out there, but it's like if you can befriend them, you will succeed in life and you will have to do much less work when you're able to like cooperate with them and work with their currents. Okay, we also have the sign of Cancer. And I'm thinking of the fact that Jupiter will be moving into Cancer in June of 2025. So perhaps from June onwards, yes, the second half of 2025 and the beginning, like January, February of 2026, that's going to be a very blessed period for you. That's going to be where things are accelerating and big changes are happening. If you think about it, that's maybe, 6, 7, maybe an 8-month period. The second half of 2025 and the first couple months of 2026, to think that your entire life could change and you could get things that you've been wanting for so long just within that period of a few months, that's kind of crazy when you think about it. And Cancer is also the sign that rules over the Chariot card, which is about forward motion, progress, acceleration, victory, also tapping into your intuition. Finally, we have the clear blue lotus flower, and it says to let go of self-centered thinking, which I think is so funny because I just finished talking about we're not the only ones here. You know, there's other beings living here and interacting with us, and there's other factors at play. Get away from that thinking of like it's always about me or something I did. If what I want is taking longer than I expected, it's because of something I did and I have to do something about it. Sometimes there are other factors, there's other people involved, and their journey has to be interwoven with yours. I'm noticing that both of these beings have blue eyes. So someone with blue eyes could be significant. This also gives the feeling of zooming out, letting go of self-centered thinking, zooming out, looking at the bigger picture, looking at not only what serves you, but what serves the collective. This could kind of be a shift that's happening internally for you during this transit, is that you're zooming out of just your own life and thinking about perhaps what's going on in the world at large, or how the collective at large is affected by your journey and what you do. And I do think this is something that's going to make you feel better. It's going to bring you more peace. Feeling interconnected in this way, it's going to feel good. Taking a lot of the focus off of yourself is going to feel good. This also gives me the feeling of that. I find it beautiful, that realization of I don't have to worry what people think of me, because most people are not even thinking of me at all. It's just, there's something very freeing about that. So for those of you who worry a lot, like, what are people thinking of me? I think you're going to recover from that during this transit. And that also is something that I think makes you more confident to speak up about what you want. If you ask someone for what you want, the worst that's going to happen is they say no. And even if they say no, then they say no and that's it. You know, they're not going to go home and be like, oh my gosh, group number 3 is so blah, 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 and keep thinking about you and keep thinking about that exchange. Like, it won't be that, it's not that deep for other people. It's just we get so focused on ourselves and our own journey. We forget sometimes, like, everybody else has their own journey and they're just thinking about themselves too. They're just thinking about their journey too. People are not thinking about you that much like that. And that's even more reason to follow up with people, you know? People are so wrapped up in their own stuff. Sometimes they forget what you asked for. And it's not like, there's something like you need to know people are not constantly thinking about you. And you can use that truth to your advantage. It will make you less afraid of speaking up. It will make you less afraid of asking for things. It will make you less afraid of like following through with people, you know, nudging them, reminding them of stuff. You're not bothering people because they're not thinking about it that much even. Yeah, it's something like that. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's get into our tarot. I was just also thinking, because there's a message about a non-human guiding you, and maybe they appear something a little bit like this, like a yellow or golden being. Maybe they have blue eyes. Okay, we have the 5 of Cups. The Queen of Wands. This is like the title card of the deck, I guess. Lunalapin. I'm gonna keep it there. We have the King of Cups. And okay, at the bottom of the deck we have the Hanged Man. Makes sense that the Hanged Man is here because A big message of this reading was about a change coming to an area of your life that had been very stagnant, where maybe you felt like in a limbo, where you felt kind of stuck in between. You felt like you were left hanging. I just heard this can't be it. Maybe you got like half of what you want, but it was not your full wish, and you've been waiting and waiting for it to come through. But the Hanged Man, with this card comes a sense of clarity and inner peace of like, I understand why I'm hanging here, or I understand why I had to wait. So when we have this message of the timing isn't right and there's other factors at play, this also means that when you do finally receive what you want, it will all make sense of like why it couldn't previously happen. And it wasn't about you. That's coming through a lot. It wasn't about something you did wrong or something you said wrong. It was like other things going on. And now you see the full picture and it's like, okay, that makes sense. That's why from a cosmic perspective, it's much better that this happens now as opposed to, I don't know, a couple years ago, even though I really, really wanted it then too. The Five of Cups, it does feel like a turning point. Again, it feels like a second chance. It feels like there's still hope that we can turn this around. So maybe this desire you're receiving, you had kind of started to lose hope or already accept that it wasn't going to happen. It does feel like something you receive because of a move you make, because you approach someone, because you speak up, or because you make an attempt of some kind. But it honestly feels like you're doing it already thinking that it's not going to work. Kind of like a here goes nothing. Like, I know they're going to say no, but I'm going to ask anyway. Or like, I know I'm not going to win, but I'm going to enter this contest anyway, kind of thing. And then you win. It's that kind of vibe. We have the Queen of Wands here, which I think is definitely a reiteration of the confidence that you are gaining during this transit. And looking at the rabbit holding on to that flower, the King of Cups holding on to their cup. Again, you have something that a lot of people want. Not like they want to take it from you, but they want their own. You know, oh, look at group number 3 with that beautiful sunflower. Look at group number 3 with that beautiful dragonfly. How did they get that? I want my own dragonfly. It's, you have done something, or you have obtained something, or you will during this transit, that is very impressive to people and that is very aspirational. I think you're going to be highly admired during this transit for what you have, what you are talented in. Like, your talents are going to be on full display, as well as your accomplishments. And these are not all new accomplishments, okay? Group number 3, you're also going to be showing off, as you should, your past accomplishments. You don't only deserve recognition for the things you accomplish from now on. You also deserve recognition for the things you accomplished last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Who cares if it's in the past? You did that. You did that. This is something that always bugged me about, like, we have this idea of washed up celebrities, of like, oh, you were relevant 15 years ago. And it's like, what do you mean? That's impressive as hell. Who cares if it was 15 years ago? What did you do with your life, Gregory? Like, no offense if that's your name, but why is it suddenly lame just because it happened in the past? Who can say that they had such a big accomplishment 15 years ago? And why do we have to feel ashamed that it's not happening now, or like it didn't happen again? Silly. Very silly. So yes, show off your current accomplishments and also show off your past accomplishments. They deserve to be seen. Maybe you're bringing back up some of your old work. I see a lot, like, content creators reposting something that they did before because it was popular, as they should, because once you make it, it's yours forever. And it deserves to be recognized as much as it can. Or like an artist releasing a greatest hits album and it's like all songs from yesteryear, or releasing new versions, remastered versions, reimagined versions. You're allowed to do that. You don't have to only be impressive because of what you're gonna do in the future. You already are super impressive. You already have a lot to work with, a lot of material, a lot of talent. Be proud of yourself throughout the whole timeline, past, present, and future. I also think with these two together, you're realizing that confidence was never really a destination. It's always here and it's always accessible. Maybe in the past there was a time where you thought, I'll be more confident in myself once I have done XYZ, or once I become XYZ. And you're realizing that that's conditional confidence is not, at least that's not the kind of confidence you want. You believe in yourself and you appreciate yourself and you love yourself and you respect yourself in all of your stages. The confidence you have, or the self-esteem you have, you're cultivating something unconditional and something that is not dependent on external validation. And it's the classic irony of like, when you stop caring about receiving validation, that's when you get all of these admirers. Like when you stop caring about the thing, that's when you receive the thing. And I think this is very much something that you're experiencing. We even had that message of like, when you do something with zero expectation, like this isn't going to work anyway, but I'm just going to do it. That's when you get it. Versus when you're like, please let it work, please let it work. That's when it doesn't work. It's just, life is silly like that sometimes. Yeah. And then we have, I'm kind of reading this as like a full moon card. This looks like a child growing into an adult, a very sensitive child growing into a very sensitive adult. And this feels like coming full circle, where there's a past version of you, maybe little you, who had a lot of feelings, who felt things very deeply, who was deeply sensitive. And maybe throughout the years, you started to try to disown or suppress that part of yourself. And now adult you is coming back to reclaim and to celebrate that sensitivity and to tell little you that there's never anything wrong with them. That's a big theme of this reading too, isn't it? Because I feel like I've said that a lot. It was never that there was anything wrong with you. There was something similar in group 2 as well, I think. Like that sort of feeling of validating yourself for the way you are and the way you've always been. And realizing that was part of the divine plan too. Like who you are, how you were born, how you came into this earth. It was all like a divine design, and you never had to like struggle to, squash some of the parts of you away, or water some of the parts of you down, or ignore some of the parts of you, or try to mold them into something else. Like you never had to do any of that. I think the King of Cups is the adult version of you who is now coming back completely proud of their capacity to feel deeply and proud of the fact that they care a lot. I think in this society, it's really cool to like, I don't think it's cool. I think the society deems it cool to act like you don't give a fuck, in dating, in relationships, mainly when it comes to matters of the heart, like, you can't affect me because I don't give a fuck. I don't care about love. I was just making money or something like that. I don't know, that kind of like cool, unbothered personality. You can't affect me. You can't, you can't touch me. I'm invulnerable. I don't care. That is like deemed as cool. And I think this is you saying, actually, I care a lot. Actually, I have a lot of feelings. And it felt really bad to pretend that I didn't. Yumi, what are you doing? I think she's dreaming. She's like twitching a lot. I think she's having a dream. That is so precious. Sleeping baby. Yeah, I think you're cultivating an immense inner peace, but real inner peace doesn't come from pretending that you don't care or trying not to care. It comes from the deep knowing that everything's going to be okay. That's what it is. So, not caring, it's not the goal, but it is sometimes a byproduct of surrendering to the universe. Like, maybe you start to care less about certain outcomes when you have the deep-seated knowing that everything's going to be okay no matter what. So that's what you focus on, and then the ability to let go comes naturally. Whereas if you make letting go and not caring the goal, it's going to feel forced. I really hope that that makes sense. It made sense in my head, but you're not going to try to force yourself to like turn off your emotions or to not care about something. Like, I don't know, maybe you have feelings for someone and people say like, oh, just get over them and focus on yourself. And you're like, but I like them. Why do I have to turn that off? Or why do I have to disconnect from that part of myself? That's actually a surefire way of letting the emotions fester. And it's much better if you let them be as big as they are and as intense as they are, and let them pass through you, or let them grow and shrink as they please. Your emotions are smart. They know what they're doing. They didn't ask. They didn't ask for anyone's opinion. They didn't ask to be judged. They're kind of like animals in a way, where they just exist in their natural state. Your emotions are nature. They're pure in that way. They don't care what you think of them. They don't care what anyone thinks of them, because all they can be is themselves. And I think that is what you're embracing during this transit. And there's something about that being very, very healing for little you, for your inner child. I'm thinking of like when people say like, you have no right to be upset. Oh, well, let me not be upset then. It doesn't work that way. You don't have a right to feel something. You just feel it. The fuck? Like, this is definitely a period where we're purging a lot of old energies and old ways of thinking that did nothing but invalidate us. Yeah. So I think those are all the messages for my group number 3s. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and a wonderful 18-month transit of the nodes. And please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have a link down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where we now have over 100 exclusive timeless pick a card readings, just like the ones we do here on my channel. And we also have 2 new readings every month, and you can choose the topics for those. So I will have my Patreon link down below, and my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, your higher self, to anyone who appeared in this reading, to their higher self, and to your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!